There was a time when Hollywood didn't just doubt him, it erased him. Robert Downey Jr. was once a rising star, charismatic, unpredictable, brilliant. But that brilliance quickly spiraled into chaos. Arrests, addiction, courtrooms, headlines that didn't celebrate success, but documented collapse. Studios blacklisted him. Insurance companies refused to cover him. Directors stopped answering his calls. He wasn't just struggling, he was finished. Or at least, that's what everyone believed. Because what happened next wasn't just unlikely, it was impossible. The same man who once sat behind bars would become the face of a billion-dollar empire. The same actor Hollywood rejected would redefine an entire generation of cinema. From Iron Man to Avengers to global dominance, this isn't just a comeback story. This is the greatest redemption arc Hollywood has ever witnessed. Before the headlines, before the chaos, there was raw, undeniable talent. Robert Downey Jr. was born into a world of creativity. His father, Robert Downey Sr., was an underground filmmaker known for experimental cinema. From an early age, acting wasn't a dream, it was a reality. By the 1980s, Downey had already carved out a space for himself in Hollywood. He wasn't just another young actor. He had something different: timing, presence, unpredictability. Films like Less Than Zero didn't just showcase his talent, they revealed something deeper: a darkness. In the film, he portrayed a character consumed by addiction. Off-screen, that line between performance and reality was already beginning to blur. Then came the breakthrough. His role in Chaplin wasn't just impressive, it was transformative. Playing Charlie Chaplin, he delivered a performance so powerful it earned him an Academy Award nomination. He had it all: fame, critical acclaim, a future that seemed unstoppable. But behind the applause, something was quietly taking control. What followed wasn't a setback, it was a collapse. Addiction tightened its grip, and soon it wasn't just affecting his personal life, it was destroying his career. 1996 became a turning point. He was arrested for possession of heroin, cocaine, and a firearm. Then again and again, each incident more damaging than the last. There were moments that felt almost surreal. At one point, he wandered into a stranger's home while under the influence, confused, lost, completely disconnected from reality. This wasn't just tabloid drama anymore. This was a man losing control. Hollywood began to retreat. Studios saw risk. Directors saw uncertainty. Producers saw financial disaster. And eventually, the system that once celebrated him shut him out completely. Then came the inevitable consequence: prison. Robert Downey Jr., an Oscar-nominated actor, was now sitting in a jail cell. Not a set, not a role. Reality. For many, this wasn't just rock bottom, it was the end of the story. After prison, redemption didn't arrive. In fact, things got worse. Even when he tried to return, the industry had already made its decision. He was unreliable, unpredictable, uninsurable, and in Hollywood, that's a death sentence. One of the most shocking moments came during his time on Ally McBeal. As despite delivering a standout performance and even winning a Golden Globe, he was fired. Think about that. Success wasn't enough to save him, because trust had been broken. At this point, Robert Downey Jr. wasn't just an actor with problems. He was considered a liability, a risk no one wanted to take. But beneath the surface, something was changing. Not publicly, not dramatically, but internally. A decision was forming, a realization that if anything was going to change, it had to start with him. The comeback didn't begin with a movie. It began with discipline, sobriety, consistency, accountability. This wasn't a quick fix. It was a daily battle. And for the first time, he started winning. But no one rebuilds alone. One of the most crucial figures in this phase was Mel Gibson. When studios refused to take the risk, Gibson stepped in, supporting him, advocating for him, and helping him secure opportunities. These weren't blockbuster roles. They were small, sometimes overlooked, but they mattered because each role was proof that he could show up, that he could deliver, that he could be trusted again. Slowly, quietly, the narrative began to shift from risk to possibility, from liability to redemption. And then came the moment no one expected. In 2008, a decision was made that would change Hollywood forever. A relatively unknown studio at the time, Marvel Studios, was building something ambitious, a connected universe of superheroes. Their first major gamble? Casting Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. On paper, it didn't make sense. He had a troubled past, a damaged reputation, a career still in recovery. But sometimes, the biggest risks create the biggest rewards. Because Tony Stark wasn't just a character. He was a reflection, a genius, a flawed man, a person trying to rebuild after self-destruction. And for the first time, Downey wasn't acting. He was being. Iron Man became a phenomenon. Not just a successful film, but the foundation of something much bigger. The beginning of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And just like that, everything changed. After Iron Man, there was no going back. Film after film, the universe expanded. The Avengers Infinity War Endgame, each one breaking records, each one raising the stakes. At the center of it all was Robert Downey Jr. He wasn't just playing a role anymore. He was the face of the franchise. And with that dominance came something extraordinary. He became the highest paid actor in the world, earning tens of millions per film, negotiating back-end deals that redefined actor salaries. This wasn't just financial success, it was validation. From jail to global icon, from uninsurable to indispensable. This wasn't a comeback, it was a complete transformation. Even after stepping away from Tony Stark, his presence hasn't faded. Fans still revisit his performances, still quote his lines, still connect him to the emotional core of Marvel. Because he didn't just build a character, he built a legacy. And as Marvel continues to evolve with new phases, new threats, and what many describe as doomsday-level anticipation, one truth remains: it all started with him. Robert Downey Jr. didn't just play a hero. He became a symbol of redemption, of resilience, of second chances. His story resonates far beyond Hollywood because it proves something powerful. No matter how far someone falls, they can rise again, stronger, wiser, unstoppable. This story isn't just about fame. It's not just about money. It's about redemption, about rewriting your narrative when the world has already decided your ending. Because if Robert Downey Jr. can go from a jail cell to the top of Hollywood, then maybe no failure is final, no past is permanent, and no comeback is impossible.